Hello everyone, my name is Benji, and welcome back to Mindustry, specifically Eric here, and specifically Exogenesis on 4x speed multiplier, because I was just farming carbide and all the good stuff. I never ended up doing Vitrium on this zone, because I don't really have a whole lot of slag available to me in convenient presence to all of the other materials that I need. And I'd rather not set up the drones and all the things. I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered. So I'm just not gonna bother. And I do have osmium. So osmium is doing its thing, but that hasn't really come into play at all yet, other than for the Vitrium alloy. And then for the advanced reactor, which I have not used. It just does the thorium, the water, and the ozone, and then just radioactive water. And I don't know if you have to get rid of the radioactive water. I don't know if I will ever end up using this thing, because the base Eric here stuff is really good. But if I have the opportunity, then I might try it. And then also last time we unlocked... That is it in here? There it is, the Shockwave Tower, which I'm excited to dive into a little bit more with the cyanogen synthesizer and all things in the next zone, which brings us to what is the next zone. Well, I've unlocked all of the research on Eric here so far, which means the next zone is all the way over here. It is Crossroads, and this is the one that has all kinds of different terrain, so I'm going to have the opportunity to really mess around with a whole bunch of different things. Now, I don't exactly know what I'm gonna do to mess around with all of this. I think I remember... Oh, I remember this one now. Oh, this one's rough. This one is definitely rough. Oh, gosh. Okay. Well, the first order of business is going to be upgrades. People, upgrades. I'm going to need to upgrade my power supply using that arcosite. Anti-air, I remember needing to be a thing that's focused pretty heavily on this zone. And I remember using the tier 4 air to really conquer this zone, but I don't think I'll have to do it this time. I don't remember exactly where everything comes from. I might look that up. But essentially, upgrade power, then upgrade the beryllium, because that's something that always runs out. After the beryllium is upgraded, upgrade the tungsten, then probably the graphite, silica, then the oxidization, then get started on the modded stuff. Ignition forge, nuclear fusion furnace, using the byproduct heat from the ignition chambers. I found out that that works super duper well overall. There's not really any way that I can like wall things off, so I'm not really gonna worry about walling things off. Also, it looks like they gave me a little bit of slag on top of the arcosite, so I could do pyrolysis generators, 2 of them, and that could definitely help out, especially in the water creating hydrogen department. What units are we going to try to focus here, I think is probably going to be my first sort of question. What units am I really going to go for? I can't go for a tank or a mech assembly because I don't have enough thorium, although thorium is literally just north of us here. And I can establish something that is bringing them back and forth, but that's a little bit later. So let's take a look at the research tree, take a look at the Soltux tree here, and see what do we really want to go for. In all honesty, I think the goal should probably be mechs in the T4 and T5 range of mechs a little bit later. And then right now we can focus just on tier 2 base tanks. They're a pretty really good bet overall. And I guess I could technically do tier 2 mech units, but those aren't as good. The tier 3 flyers are definitely really great, but I think I'm going to focus on the tier 2 base tanks, which I think was actually my strategy on the first time around that I did all of this. So I think we're going to stick to our roots and just do that. And then just get upgrades started. So once I actually have something of substance for you guys that is not a repeat of before, I'll bring you back in. Stay tuned. Progress being made. Tier 2 tanks have been established. Thorium production has been established. Primordium iron is online. Vulcanite is online. Tungsten has been upgraded. Beryllium has been upgraded. Surge is even currently in production. However, I am going to have to upgrade my silica production as a result of the little bit of a takeaway that is having on the silica production. Oh, well, how in the world did that happen? I was wondering why my sand was backed up, because I was like, my sand is backed up. That must mean that I have too much sand and I can take some more vulcanite, but oopsies, I just messed up input. That's totally my bad. Whoopsie daisy. I'm remembering this zone a little bit more now that I'm starting to, like, open it up a little bit more, and yeah, this one's a doozy. This one sucks a little bit. I'm straight up not gonna lie to you. This one's rough. So I have some thermals ready to go for the event where enemies come in from the bottom. Enemies will be more than likely coming in from overhead aerial-wise. I don't know exactly where, but I know that this zone is notorious for needing anti-air protection. So that's kind of next up on my list. However, disperses are rather expensive in a lot of ways, so I'm a little hesitant to just go, you know, all willy-nilly on that at the moment. Especially with my silica supply the way that it is at this moment in time. I'm actually even going to take that away. That way this just gets as much sand as it possibly can. Actually, rather than taking it away, I'm just going to overflow duct that instead. That'll be good. However, what I am going to do is I'm going to take this. My gosh, this is just spaghetti monster mess, isn't it? I'm just going to take that and I'm going to route it into here. That way, as soon as it's done making me my units, it's just going to help with my silica supply. And there is a couple of bases off, yep, to the right side here. That's where the crabs are going to be coming in, and I will probably end up utilizing crabs in order to get to there, just like I did last time. I think this was the first place that I did tier 4 crabs, which is something that definitely worked in my favor. So that's something that I'm going to have to be sort of looking into as an option here. But then in addition to that, there are going to be tanks coming in from the bottom left, and like I said earlier, air coming in from all around. So I think first things first, what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to defend my power supply from the anti-air perspective of things. So I'm going to put down a disperse up here. I'm going to make sure that it's water-cooled by the pyrolysis generator. And in order to just really double up on that, I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to give it ammo from this right here, the tungsten. That is going to be super important. I'm also going to take this off and then make sure that it's really only supplying what I need it to be supplying at the moment. Then I'm going to establish some tungsten mining down here with our wonderful hydrogen and our tier 2 mining drills, these big honkers, large plasma bores. And I'm going to establish some more anti-air down in this region, as well as supplying some breach turrets for down here. And then I'm also going to make sure that this zone is defended by breach turrets as well. And then, of course, we have the thermals and our tanks as a little bit of a backup. Also going to go on ahead and get a unit repair point created for the guys that took a lot of hits right there that I'm not really too happy about the fact that they took those hits, but, you know, at the end of the day, that's kind of just something that ends up happening. So yeah, I'm gonna take care of that, and I'll be back, hopefully when I can start using some units to attack. Finally, time for an update. This zone does in fact suck. Number 1, tier, what are these? 4? 3. 3? Tier 3 tanks? I don't even know, but they're tier 4s. Yeah, no, they're vanquishes. They're tier 4s. So we have tier 4 tanks coming in from the bottom left, which is currently guarded by a shield. So I can do jack shit about that. Literally, can't do anything. I have a whole bunch of geothermals set up, an automatic rebuilding tower set up because my ammo line keeps getting destroyed. I have water-cooled turrets. I've got units, which actually need to get moved farther up in the line than they were. It's ridiculous. This little zone right here used to be controlled by the enemy and produced tier 3 air units, which I am now producing in the exact same spot. I also have a little artillery to just soften these guys up a little bit for my main defense. And that seems to be working, but more importantly, the geothermals work like a charm. This zone down here I thought was a core. No, it was just an embankment that was making tier 2 crabs and supporting units for everything else, and that's just awful. I hate it, didn't want it to happen. So, now it's not happening. It's mine, I have it controlled, and I'm making tier 4 of these guys, the radiateds, which are... we'll see. I don't know. But we can always make this into a tank assembly instead, and then just have tier 4 tanks again. They've got less health. They've got 9,000 compared to the 14,000. They do about the same damage, but they have 2 less range. So I'm very curious to see how these guys perform. And then I have tier 3 crabs coming at me from up top here, as well as, let me find a sacrificial lamb here. No, I don't want the 7 locusts to move there. They're fine where they're at. Let me find, not you. Sacrificial lamb. I also have to deal with this. These guys are super heated and just are gonna be an absolute pain in my butt. So I have that I also now have to deal with. And then once I actually take this zone, there's going to be a whole ton of stuff coming in from up on this side, because there's, guess what, even more, and it's just an absolute cluster of just enemies and BS and all kinds of other crap. So I'm, at this point, pretty much just waiting on all of this to be done and dealt with. And I'm just waiting for units to sort of be made here. However, what I am going to do, actually, is I'm gonna just go on ahead and make some more, because it's just obnoxiously slow, and I can't handle how slow it is. So, give me a little bit here, we'll get these guys all sorted out, and then I'm gonna go to bed and probably pick up the episode another day. So yeah, one moment. I've got 5 of them. I'm confident this will, at the very least, be able to deal some pretty decent damage. So we're just gonna roll up and just see what happens. Where are you guys going? Okay, nope, no. Back that up. One of them's gonna die. Why are they so slow? Alright, we're not doing those. I'll test out the tier 5s at some point, because the tier 5s have 50k health apiece, but those are too slow. Those are far too slow for the kind of high stakes action that's happening right now. They are too slow. Look at their movement speed, man. What is that all about? they're not even that powerful overall. They don't even have that much health. I mean, they just got melted by those afflict turrets. Like, come on. That's nuts. If they're gonna be that slow, there needs to be some kind of a justification for their speed. Like, that cannot be allowed to happen. So let's go on ahead and fix that mistake that I just made. Get that tier 4 tank assembly up and running. And then we can have our wonderful tier 4 lavas again. Because those worked wonders on the last zone. I'm sure they're going to work wonders here. I don't exactly have the power output to even do tier 5s on this location down here, so we're probably not gonna end up doing tier 5s at this location. We'll do tier 5s once we capture up here, because like I said, this wraps... Okay, sure, that's a thing. This wraps all the way around and then leads over to the final base. So we will actually be able to have ground units coming from over here all the way around to this side, which is exactly what we want. So give me a little bit, I don't know how long, but give me a little bit to get, first of all, these guys repaired and back on the front lines, as well as get, like, you know, 5 or so of the lavas, and then we'll move on. One moment. So I may have gone around with my air units and busted in, and I could absolutely just capture it right now, but I really want to try again with these. Like, I really want to give them a second chance, you know? I don't want to just write them completely off. So I want to give them a chance with some backup. They've got 5 lavas now, on top of their own 4 radiatives. Come on, guys, you can all have the space. Get your pathfinding algorithms in order, please. What's your problem? Y'all need to quit. What's your problem? Great, did I just get one of them stuck? I'm not quite sure how I managed to just do that. But alright, he's stuck. Sure. Now, let's get them to go the right direction this time, please. Yeah, man, look how much smaller they are. Or, slower they are, rather. Oh, well, I kind of took out their power grid. So I guess this isn't quite fair. Alright, pull U3 or U5 back. Let's just get the photospheres in here. Or the radiatives, not the photospheres. I don't know why I'm saying photospheres. Oh yeah, no, these guys are terrible. They're slow. They're not really that effective. I mean, I guess once they get close with, like, their flamethrowers and stuff, like, their flamers are pretty nice, but the rest of it is just honestly kind of pitiful. I'm not gonna lie, they're just too slow overall. This is a bit much. Alright, yeah, so their damage comes in the flavor of their flamers. Their flamers are where the core of their damage comes from. Alright, I can see that. I can see that. I can see that. Now, we've got a bit of an issue here. I was wrong. And they can't get up this way at all. So I don't really know what I'm gonna do. Because I really wanted to use them. I guess technically what I could do is I could shut down this factory down here. I don't know what I would do with the space, but I could shut this factory down. Use its extra power in this area with all of the new resources and the thorium and all of the things. And the slag and the arcosite and the extra power and all the things. And then I guess what I could do is I could take the upgrade module. I could clear out like a little bit of this base over here with the air units because they seem to be pretty effective. I've got a bunch. I could put the upgrade module and the mech or tank assembly over on this side, and then I could just payload mass driver it on over. Ooh, I could also large payload mass driver. The linked payload, size 5x5. Hang on a second. This might just be revolutionary. Hold on now, just 1 minute. Even if I don't have access to that one, that's fine. What if I put this down? What do you do? What do you do if I put this here? Nothing. Doesn't work. What if I put a payload conveyor instead? Will you autocraft on top of this? Let me make it feedback first. Now that we know that that doesn't work, we can just place that back. Come on, show me the goods. This is why I installed a time warp mod. Ah. Well, okay. My initial idea still stands. Building the tier 2s, and then building the walls, and then payload mass drivering those components over to other areas, using the extra power or whatever to do that. So I'm gonna go get some sleep, because it's after 1 a.m. And future Benji will pick back up with you guys at some point. Because he's future Benji. Yeah, future Benji will see you in just a second. I do have the tier 5 mechs. And boy, are they beefy. They are slow. They're extremely slow. To the point where them getting stuck is a bit of a detriment. But that's okay, because I can just do this. And it works perfectly fine. This is why I love having this mod, by the way. It's also fine because it's going to take the enemy reinforcements a hot minute to actually get to where I'm about to be attacking, because they're all down here. See? Look at them all. They're all down there, which I'm going to be attacking on this front first. And then I will be sweeping my way down to take care of that, because I'm kind of going to have to. They do have the big honkin' 5x5 turrets, the end game turrets. I forget what they're called, but they use surge as ammo, and they are rather devastating. You know what? I'll just sacrifice one of these guys because they're so cheap. The afflicts. Just watch him. And there it was. Yeah, that's pretty bad. So we're gonna take that down first. That's gonna be our primary target. I am gonna just speed up these guys' walking speed here, because it is absolutely ridiculous how slow they are. However, I'm hoping... Oh no. I see enemy units on their way. They have 50,000 health. Enemy units not here? I guess not. Alright. They have 50,000 health, and they do decent damage. However, their range is obviously not the best. Wow, he's taking a beating. The front two are taking a bit of a beating here. Come on. One of them's down. Two of them are down, the other three are fine. Let me see if I have any reinforcements yet. I do have reinforcements, that's good. I'm just gonna let them kind of recuperate here for a second and just chill. Those fuses are very nice. I think the main issue, again, is just how slow they are, and I did bring that up in the Eric here modding, or not the Eric here modding Discord, but the Exogenesis modding Discord. I brought up how slow these guys are, and it really is quite detrimental how slow they are. It's not the worst thing in the world, especially with the tier 5s, but the tier 4s have less health than the tanks do, and have no good qualities to make up for it. Like, they have bad damage, bad health, they're just not great. Versus with the tier 5s here, the tier 5s actually have it going for them, that they have a lot of health. They do really, really good things with that health. And then they also do have pretty mighty damage. I'll actually go on ahead and show off their damage here. So 125 damage, fire rate 2 times, so double that to 250 every 0.75 seconds. Or, sorry, not every 0.75 seconds, but 0.75 per second, so once every second and a half, which is pretty nice. And then, of course, the long-range blasteds, which is 6 per second total, because it's 3 per second each, and they have 2 of them. So those are at least nice. Look at this big, beefy guy coming up here. They're quite beefy. They don't seem to be that good at single unit damage, but I bet what they lack in single unit damage, they make up for pretty heftily in multi-unit damage. Like, I can almost guarantee that they are just monsters in the field of doing multi-target attacks. So we've got that part going for us. I also guarantee that they're just going to take forever to heal here. Yeah, they're gonna take a hot minute. So let me get another one over to the battlefield here, and then we'll push down. We don't have a wall to go through this time, so hopefully it'll go a little bit better with 2 of these guys. Actually, I'll just go on ahead and speed it up to 8 times multiplier and get him over. Once you get into the 8 times multiplier, things like power and water flow and other fluid flow just doesn't really work as well. But that's not the end of the world, in my personal opinion. Go on ahead and take out that tank. Large shield projector. Yeah, that tank's not doing hardly any damage to me here. Come on now, there you go. May as well take out that shield projector. I don't know exactly what it was protecting. Ooh, I managed to sever their power supply, which means this is just going to go even easier now. Oh, well, never mind. That doesn't need power. Well, shoot, I might lose both of these. Yeah, I'm going to lose them. I did, in fact, lose him. Let me just send these guys in their place, then. Because I need to make sure that I contest this. I need to make sure that this is still contested. I can't let the enemy rebuild here. If I let the enemy rebuild, I'm just gonna end up massacring myself instead of doing anything good. And that is not the goal. Not the vibe. Not the vibe. These guys are still all healing, but we do have a 4th, so that's nice. And I could always switch over to the tier 5 tanks, but I am going to challenge myself to do this with just the mechs. So give me 1 minute to replenish my supply here a little bit, and I'll be back. I'm honestly not sure if the shield is broken or something, but there's no line here anymore, and this doesn't seem to be doing anything, of which I am rather curious about. However, I am still going to take down this tier 5 real quick, or whatever I guess you could technically call it. And then I'm just going to deviate 2 of you to head down here and do your thing. Why are you going that way? Get rid of that first. Oh, well, I guess I don't technically have to, because I can just take the core and be done with the zone. Hey, there we go. Look at that. Zone is captured. Now I can take the obviates down here, kind of see what exactly was going on. Also, yeah, no, there were a lot of tanks that were down there that just absolutely got massacred. So good for them. Oh, they had a flux reactor back here. I totally could have just gotten that to blow up. I don't exactly know how I could have gotten it to blow up, but I 100% could have just gotten that to blow up. I could have just sabotaged this all, but oh well. Not a big deal at all. Yeah, I really don't know what the heck was going on down here with this thing, the shield projector. But there you go, that's the tier 5 mechs in action. They're pretty cool overall. Very, very much am a fan of their aesthetic overall. They definitely feel a lot more balanced than the tier 4 versions. Granted, still not the greatest. I just realized this was supposed to be part 2 of something that I already have recorded, and I don't know how long that was. So I think that is actually going to be it for today. Thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed, but without further ado, adios, sayonara, au revoir, hasta la vista, das vidania, wiedersehen, ciao, and goodbye. Have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day. Get some sleep if you need to. Don't forget to stay hydrated. This video is in the bag, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later, y'all.